Okay, so UFC Mexico just wrapped up, and before I say anything, alright, it was a decent card. Why are we doing this to Steve Erceg? Why, alright? Gets fast tracked to a title shot that he's not ready for. And obviously, that's what every contender would probably want. They all think they're ready for the belt. They all want the belt as fast and easy as possible, but Steve Erceg, man, I love him as much as the next guy, but why are we doing this to him? Gives him a title shot off of Matt Schnell, shoots him up the rankings for a title shot he didn't deserve. Then loses a close decision. Okay, goes up the rankings slightly for how good he did. Alright, I get it. Gives him a top 5 opponent in Kaikara France. Sure, whatever. We're giving him a title shot. We can't have him go that low down the rankings after that, alright? He loses brutally. And we give him a guy who's higher up the rankings. This matchmaking makes no fucking sense. It's gonna ruin Erceg's career. He's on a 3-fight skid now, and I love the guy. I don't want to see this, alright? Give him like a 10 or an 11. Let him fight down the rankings. Give the kid a break, man. Alright, he deserves an easy fight. I know there's not really meant to be easy fights. Every fight is a hard fight, but man, I don't know. Give him somebody who's not a former champion or about to challenge for the title, you know? Like, this kid deserves a break. But let's talk about how the card actually went. It was a very good card. It took a huge blow with Pfeiffer pulling out with a tummy ache, and that fight was just completely off. No replacement for Gastelum. Maybe it'll get rescheduled in a few weeks. I don't know. Okay, but that sucked. Other than that, it was a pretty good card. You know, Chira's got a fun KO. David Martinez got a fun KO. You know, Erceg versus Moreno was fun. High output, high level striking. Flyweight striking is just always fun. And again, with Erceg, where the fuck is the grappling? This dude is a grappler. Why are you boxing for 5 rounds with Moreno? That's just low IQ. Alright? Should have shot a takedown. At least once. There was not a single takedown shot. I think Moreno clinched up on the cage for like a minute. And that was all the grappling that happened in that fight. Insane. Alright? Emmers got a KO easily. Gabriel Miranda is, again, I said in the prediction video, he's a fucking grappler in MMA. He's not a striker. He can't strike. He can't throw a punch. And he can't move his head to save his life. Alright? Loopy had a good performance. Said she had to take a shit in the corner. That was interesting. Hope she got to take that shit. And then, what else? You know, had a few boring fights. Like the Raw Roses fight was kind of boring. Pretty control-y. Low output. Low damage. Some Darce attempts or some ninja choke attempts from Morales. But other than that, I didn't really like that fight that much. What else? The Dober KO, that was fucking brutal. Everyone's saying back of the head shots. They weren't. Look at all the angles they show, okay? Dober got KO to the side of the head. Torres, clean KO. I'm a guy who calls out back of the head shots because no one else will. But this was not a back of the head shot KO, okay? Dober got concussed badly. That was brutal. He got up ready to fight like it was still going. You know, got a feel for the guy. He's getting old. But let's break down the whole card, starting with the first fight of the night, where Medeiros beat Hubbard by decision. I thought this was pretty close. You know, I'm going to be real. I thought Hubbard edged it out. You know, I can see the damage of Medeiros winning the 3rd round. But to be honest, when I watched it for the first time, and I'm not going to rewatch it, I don't care enough. I'm not going to scream robbery, but I thought Hubbard got the first 2 rounds just from slightly outputting him and controlling him with the takedowns. There might have been some damage that I missed, some like low-key damaging shots, but this was really low level, man. Like really low level. This was like a bar fight. I mean, not really much like clean shots landing and hurting the guy. Hubbard gets another loss. Probably done. He's probably done, you know. He's won like twice out of his 8 fights he's had or something. Not looking good for Austin Hubbard, you know. Good kid. Wishing him the best. Next, we had Emmers KO Miranda in the first round. It was looking iffy. He got his back taken. Miranda almost got that choke, but the angle was just slightly off. He didn't really have the neck. I mean, he did, but he was turned over on his stomach, so he was really just squeezing the side of his neck and not actually his esophagus where he has to breathe, you know, use to breathe. So didn't really cut off the airflow like it needed to get the finish or tap. But yeah, decently easy KO for Emmers. He just, as soon as that sequence ended, he got top position, stood up after landing some decent ground and pound as well, and just completely outclassed, outboxed Gabriel Miranda. The dude has no striking or head movement. It's sad. I said this. Everyone should have known this already. He's a grappler. He has submission threats. He has decent wrestling, but he's the type of guy to pull guard. He didn't in this fight, but he's the type of guy to pull guard. He's a jiu-jitsu nerd with no real striking, no threat, no defense. It's unfortunate, but yeah, Jamal Emmers looked great. I don't know why his corner was about to start fighting after they won. They looked like they were about to start round fucking 2 after their guy won. I don't really know what that was about, Maybe they were arguing on the shots he should have went for. I don't know. All right, but interesting. Next we had Rafa Garcia beat Pichel by decision. Why the fuck is this guy still here? I don't care if he's a legend or a vet. Get this dude out of here. You're cutting good people who are doing you favors like James Liontop or Leon Top, whatever his name was. You're cutting people like that. You're cutting all these guys who have potential off of just 1 or 2 losses. While this dude Pichel is on like a 4-fight skid, fights once every 2 years, and is just so bad. Like, he's so stuck in the 90s. He's so one-dimensional, low output, and old. Like, dude, get this guy out of here. I don't give a fuck, all right? Respect to the old heads, to the vets, to the crafty vets. I don't care, man. This dude eye-poked him like 3 times in the fight. Okay, fuck him. All right, he lost. Got out-outputted. It was a decently fun fight. Not really. I mean, it's hard to care, man. Even if these fights are good, dude, no one cares about Rafa Garcia, okay? Not at all. Especially nobody cares about Pichel. Like, dude, this fight was just not the best matchup in my opinion, okay? Get this old head out of here. It was a decent scrap, though. Next, we had Lupi Godinez beat Julia Pastrolli by decision. This was a pretty good performance, man. I mean, I think we all were picking Lupi. I think it was a pretty easy, obvious pick. She's no Khabib. She's no female Khabib, but very dominant grappling, strong, picking up her opponent, dumping him to the canvas whenever she wants. Good takedowns, not just like power either, and strength. She actually has good takedowns, good technique, good timing with them. And her striking looked good as well. I think she outstruck Julia most of the sequences. Pastrolli does have a good chin, but, it's women's. They're not really going to KO each other that often. Okay, I know the last card or the one before we had a few women's KOs. We can't just don't let that shit get your expectations too high. Okay, we can't expect them regularly. They will never happen regularly. And yeah, decent fight. Next we had McQuizzle Costa beat Christian Rodriguez. And this was another one where I probably just wasn't watching closely enough and was biased towards my pick. Maybe, I don't really know. I thought Christian Rodriguez won this fight. Was it boring as fuck and he did terrible? Yes. But I just thought he won on the takedowns and control time. There wasn't much damage in this fight. Obviously, McQuizzle won the 3rd round, if I'm remembering it right. He won the 3rd round. He landed some decent damage. And he did land some decent strikes in round 1, but round 2 was just pure control time from what I remember from Rodriguez. He's pushing him up against the cage, getting the takedowns, dragging him back down after he get up. Just not really a fun fight. I was disappointed because I thought this fight would be badass, okay? I thought it'd be a high output fight where the striking would be pretty even, and I thought Rodriguez would tire him out and get a 3rd round submission, but that did not happen. This fight was disappointing. I thought it would be better. Good performance from McQuizzle, I guess. How are you going to beat all those people, Rodriguez, and lose to McQuizzle Costa? That kid's good and all, but dude, I thought you were the prospect killer, okay? Fuck, man. Part of me only picked him for the meme because he just crushes every prospect. Even though McQuizzle's barely a prospect, he's already lost, and he doesn't really have that much hype on him, but whatever. Got my pick wrong. This was my first wrong pick of the card, so yeah, whatever. Next, we had Ateba Gutierrez KO Jose Medina, okay? Dude, get Medina out of here, all right? I know I was just saying how they cut people too harshly. They got 2 or 3 losses, and they just cut him instantly instead of giving him another chance. Get this dude out of here. He's so ass. All this dude does is clip farm. He just gets hurt and gets beat the fuck up with his blobby ass belly bouncing all over the place because he's obese for the weight class. He probably could cut down 2 weight classes if he actually got lean. And yeah, he got his ass beat and knocked the fuck out. Early stoppage, low key, but he would have got finished. I didn't think this would happen. I thought Gutierrez would win a dominant round 1 and then slow down after gassing a little bit at the elevation they were at, and Jose would just be too tough to get finished. But dude, Gutierrez has that fucking power on him. All right, yeah, I mean, people are calling him the middleweight Ngannou. I don't know about that, but this dude has power. He's big. He's physical, athletic, and he's like 22 years old. Dude has potential, especially at 185, where I'd say 185 is probably the weight class that lacks the power punchers. It really does. Like, we have Joe Pyfer. He's a new prospect with power punches. But other than that, Dricus is, like, he is powerful, but he's not like a knockout artist, crazy power KO guy. You know, we have pillow hands Strickland. We have pillow hands Robert Whittaker. Pillow hands Izzy. Volume striker Izzy. Like, middleweight is just so volume strike heavy and just lacks the KO artists. This guy, I think, can cure that a bit, you know. He can go far, I think. You know, we have to see more of him, but he's young. He'll probably get better and better. So, good performance, good KO. Next, we had Kevin Borjas, fraud check, Ronaldo Rodriguez. Okay, 2 million followers on Instagram ain't gonna get you that win, buddy. Okay, this shit pissed me off because I wanted to pick Kevin Borjas so bad. But I just thought Ronaldo Rodriguez, being the grappler dominant guy, the MMA fighter who's getting outstruck for 3 rounds, dropped left and right every minute, I thought he would implement the grappling, but it never came. He shot like 2 shitty takedowns the whole fight. He didn't really try. He didn't really ever go for one. I don't know what this kid was thinking, man. He's ass. And he missed weight. He's like 5'3". How do you miss weight? This shit pissed me off, okay? Ronaldo Rodriguez throwing a bunch of stupid spinning kicks and jumping kicks that just did a whole lot of nothing. Kevin Borjas was counter-striking the fuck out of him, dropping him with crazy, like, just right check hooks that would catch him right on the chin every time. It was beautiful. He was fighting on the back foot and counter-striking purely, but good for him. Do that if your opponent's just going to run forward, throw stupid kicks, and just have no reach and just run in and not implement grappling at all. Good. I'm glad this guy lost. He's an idiot. I picked him. I'm mad. I knew he was shit. I knew he was small for the division. You're small for flyweight, man. That's tough. I'm going to be real. Yeah, I wanted to pick against him so bad, but I thought he would implement the grappling. He did not. Good performance by Borjas. Just saved his career. Imagine they still just cut him. Like, dude, that'd be so fucked if they cut him anyway. Next, we had David Martinez finish Simon Oliveira in the first round. This was a very fun KO. I knew David Martinez was good. You know he was good. If you watched him on the Contender Series, you knew he was good. He's crazy aggressive, crazy powerful, high output, has the gas tank. I knew he would have the gas tank to win this fight, but he didn't really need it. You know, at elevation anyway or not, he didn't need it because he got it done in the first round, made it look easy, was implementing really hard, aggressive-looking calf kicks that were hurting Simon Oliveira, who was just doing a whole lot of bullshit. 3 times 10 sets of fucking bullshit, all right? This dude was throwing the slowest spinning shit I've ever seen in my life. He was not trying to grapple. He was just throwing flimsy jabs. He was doing a whole lot of nothing, all right? Cut this dude. I don't know how old he is. He looks like he's 40 years old. He fights like it too, okay? Cut this dude. He's ass. And David Martinez could be a serious threat in this division, you know? It's hard to tell off of one KO debut. You never really know till you see what their grappling looks like against other levels of competition and what their chin looks like, because you didn't really have his chin tested at all, but I think he has potential. I think he's pretty good. Next we had Raul Rosas Jr. I think he got it done by decision. Yeah, this was a pretty boring fight. Vince Morales, rip. He will be cut again probably. He's on like a 5-fight losing streak now. He's fought like 10 times in the UFC, only won like twice. It's tough out here, all right? I feel bad for him. You know I shit on a lot of fighters, but at the end of the day, they're chasing their dream. They're in the hardest like sport in the world, the hardest division of the sport in the world, facing the killers of the world, okay? Like, you gotta feel for the kid. He's good. He's athletic. He's well-rounded. He just doesn't really excel at one thing too highly. He doesn't really have power. He's not really crazy fast. He fails to get submissions. He can threaten them, but he actually fails to get them usually. You know, it's tough. But Raul Rosas looked okay. Good takedowns. Picked him up and threw him once. Pretty strong, pretty good. His striking definitely improved. He did land some decent strikes. I'd say he won rounds 1 and 2 pretty clearly. The third was a bit iffy. I think the submission attempts definitely made it close, but Chiwiwis did land some decent ground and pound when he had him down in that round, I think. So, close third round, but other than that, Raul Rosas probably won all 3 rounds. Good performance by him. He's only 20 years old, man. So, he has all the potential in the world. Next, we had Edgar Chairez submit CJ Figueroa. Thank God, man. I love Edgar Chairez so much. I picked him against Vaughn. Why the fuck I say Vaughn like that? Van. I picked him against Joshua Van. It was a decent pick, in my opinion. All right, he almost finished him. Close fight, but he's only won once in the UFC. He's had a tough set of guys, man. I think he debuted against Tatsura Taira or something. He makes flyweight better. He makes it more fun. I'm so glad he won. I'm so glad, okay? Rocked him like twice, dropped him really badly once, and then just jumped on him, got the submission, rear naked choke, made him tap. Even though it wasn't really on the chin, it was kind of just on the jaw, but obviously that applies enough pressure to make someone tap. I just thought, in the moment, I was like, oh my God, he's folding the finish. Oh my God, he's folding the finish. He's going to gas out and lose. Oh my God. But CJ Figueroa taps. Yeah. I mean, he's just not very good. Has really no chin. Has his hands down constantly when he has no chin. Bad defense. Pillow hands. Gets out grappled by a lot of people. He's just bad, man. I could see him getting cut. Next, we had Manel Torres brutally finish Drew Dober. Okay. This card did have a lot of KOs, but this one was the most brutal. We needed one like this. Torres, I picked him. I was so close to picking Dober. I was so close. And I'm glad I picked Torres. I thought he would win by submission. I thought the grappling is what would get this fight done for him. But no, he just, I think it was a nasty jab that he landed on Dober. Or was it a hook? I forget. Rocked Dober bad. And all he did was land some ground and pound and it's over. You know, the initial shot really hurt Dober. It's unfortunate to see. I love Dober. But his chin may be a bit fucked. You know, it may be gone. I'm going to be real. Not gone, but he used to be known for having a crazy chin. I think that Gene Silva fight really fucked him up. Really hurt his durability because he took so much damage in that fight. But yeah, good performance by Manel Torres. He now has like 6 finishes in the first round, and I think every single one of his wins in the UFC is all first round finishes. So unless he's facing someone who can outreach him like Bahamondes did, it seems like this guy is dangerous for anyone, you know? This is 155, right? It's the most dangerous division, the hardest division in the sport, but I could see this guy being a real contender for the top 5, okay? This dude is dangerous. Maybe someone who actually can offensively grapple really dominantly can stop his dangerous first round, and he won't be as dangerous in the later rounds, but we'll have to see. We'll have to see him go into the later rounds. Yeah, good fight. Next, we had Steve Erceg lose to Brandon Moreno. Thank God, man. I would have felt so bad if Brandon Moreno lost again in Mexico. It's his first time winning after, like, fighting there 3 or 4 times. It's unfortunate, but he got it done. Okay, he didn't fold, and he was very emotional about it. Good for him. It was wholesome to see, but it wasn't wholesome to see Erceg, man. Why did you fucking grapple, Erceg? This was actually a pretty close fight. I think it was closer than people make it out to be. I think Erceg clearly won round 2, and maybe 3. Okay, I'm not going to say clearly 3, because 3 was very close. 2 was close as well, but I thought Erceg landed the better shots in 2. I probably have to rewatch it to be sure, but Moreno definitely won rounds 1, 4, and 5. 100%. It wasn't even that close, okay? It was competitive the whole fight. But Moreno he looked good. In that first round, he hurt Erceg a lot of times with just big overhand rights where he'd land nothing. Like, he was landing them nowhere but the chin. He was landing them all right on the chin. It was like he couldn't miss, okay? He was just ducking his head, throwing it, and then Erceg would just get hit every time with it. He adjusted, came back in the second round. I thought he won the second round, and he could have won the third. I'd have to rewatch it to be sure. But from what I remember, clear round 2, but then he just never really, like that's what you have to do, man. That's where you implement the grappling. You're getting slightly dominated in the first round, okay? You come back. You have a close second round that you think you won, and you did win, I think, okay? And then you come back in the third round, and you lose it. Possibly. It was a close round. But in your mind, you're like, okay, that could be a swing-em round. Now we're going into championship rounds where Moreno is going to be more tired than normal because it's at elevation. Erceg's obviously the same for him. He's tired as well. But, dude, this dude is the guy that grappled with Pantoja for 5 rounds. He did lose a lot of the exchanges and was on bottom for most of it. But, man, this is where you implement the grappling in championship rounds. You surprise him after not doing it the whole fight. You implement it in round 4, and then you see if you can control him for most of that round and win it. And then in round 5, you fucking try to do the same thing. I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm not a coach. I'm not a fighter, but, you know, it just doesn't really make sense. Why do these guys not MMA it in MMA? You have the grappling to fall back on. He's a grappler. Most of his wins on the come up to the UFC are by submission. He's a grappler. I don't fucking get it, man. But nonetheless, that was UFC Mexico. Rip Erceg. He'll be back, okay? He really needs a win, though. Please, dude, if he goes on a 4-fight skid, fuck, that'd be so bad, okay? That's the card. It was pretty fun, you know, pretty fun card. Not really many ranked names or big fighters that we care about, but, you know, it was fun, okay? That's the whole card. I'll see you guys in the next one.